Hello, guys. Sorry for the late start. What's going on?
Hello, guys.
Hang on,
Sorry
I'm
for the
muted.
late start.
Sorry, guys. I had the window open in the background. What up? Sorry, yeah. My mistake, guys. I had my sound doubled up and it was coming through a separate window. There's never a Gator show unless I have technical difficulties. I am a total professional at this. So there's sound now. Welcome, guys. What's going on? How's it going? Welcome to the Fireside, Friday Fireside on 6/17/22. The amazing, the incredible Mr. Geronimo is here with me today to discuss the market and everything else that whatever else questions you guys have. We'll talk about some tape reading. We'll talk about price action, market in general, and just kind of hang out with you guys and, shoot the crap. It's a great week. In my opinion, the last 2 weeks of trading has been the best trading in probably 3 or 4 months. I'm not sure if it's just me, if it's the market, or what it is, but I've been having a good time, especially since I moved. Be glad to be back here with you guys. So let's talk about tape reading. Let's talk about the market. Yo, Steve, what's up? Hear your guys' stories about the week, questions you may have. Anything else, Geronimo and I are here just to chat. We'll chat amongst ourselves, chat with you guys. Welcome, Gator Fireside. Show 69. If I was Elon Musk, I would make a joke, but I'm not, so you guys can make your own jokes. I even clicked the wrong intro. Oh man, I'm tired. Dude, it was a long week. And say hey, what's up, Geronimo? You can say hey to everybody. What up, Blade Man?
Hey folks, what's up, fam?
What's up, guys? Cheers to you, bandits. Love you guys. Salancha.
Cheers.
A little bit of Redbird 12 in my glass tonight. Oh, how are you guys doing? Anybody got any stories for the day? Or if you have any questions, throw them in chat. I'm gonna don't per my normal non-professional self. I don't particularly have an exact what's up, Naveen, what's up, everybody. Love you guys. It's been a great week of trading, man. You said that you've really been killing it this last week. You think there's something that's changed in the market, or do you think we're adapting? Jr.
Um,
for you.
I think we've had just a lot of volatility, and we've just had a lot of confluence of good setups. I mean, I guess we had was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Was a little range bound, but other than that, we've had just a lot of nice intraday volatility and uh, patterns being respected. And when that happens, it's pretty easy to make money. So I think it's got more to do with that.
It probably does. It has been, I don't know, I found there's been hard things, like definitely Tesla stuff was messed up today. But I think, guys, like unless you were tagged early in the Tesla mishaps today, and I wasn't tagged in them, or actually I might have been in Facebook because I traded Facebook and I noticed something was off. I was shorting Meta off the 200, and then I noticed that something was off, and I ended up losing like 26 like 20 cents on it, and it was kind of annoying. I was like, whatever. And then I went and did Tesla, and I saw that, yeah, audio's on, and I saw that something was jacked up, and I didn't do Tesla, and then I limited into some options at the bid and got filled, and then the Tesla actually ran about 5 points on a breakout, and my options didn't move. And when I sold, I think I made 20 cents on them or something, when I should have made 2, 3, 4 points or whatever it is. And it was very frustrating. After that, I walked away and I came back and I traded the Qs. But you guys had, I got a lot of questions about tape reading. And the whole show tonight, I mean, I don't really have a theme, but it's not really going to be on tape reading. But we can definitely talk about it, and I want to talk about it early. The tape reading, which tape reading, or which trade? I agree. Thursday was hard. I actually agree with what Peacock is saying. I made decent money on. I think I made good money on Monday, average money on Tuesday, great money Wednesday. Thursday seemed easy and then difficult. Like it was more difficult for sure. And we could tell that because Tesla sat sideways for like 20 minutes in the morning and then decided to move. And then it changed. And then platform issues we're having today. Oh, yeah, that Tesla play. Yeah, I mentioned, yeah. You must have been trading common, Dari. I wasn't trading common. I had like 10 contracts and they did not move for the whole run up. It was like a 3-minute run up. And I was just like, are these things ever going to pop? And they just never did.
Quad witch is weird, man. Quad witch, I always just stick to common. Save myself some drama.
Hey, you did good doing that. I need to
Yeah.
I need to do that. I should really start trading common, to be honest with you.
A lot of times it's the better play, just depends on the type of market you have and what instrument you're trading. But it helps, yeah.
I wonder if like I was talking with my dad on the phone while I was trading. He was on a Zoom call. And I wonder if he was saying the volatility was dropping as Tesla was going up, the volatility in the options were dropping super fast. And he was wondering if people were selling next week's options because of the quad witching, these people dumping stuff, and wondering if that actually messed up next week's options because of the volatility.
Like people rolling over.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, it's possible. That's like a Lance question. He's a options connoisseur. He was a options market maker. Yeah, but there's
Oh,
all
so
kinds of
he's the
shenanigans going
goblin.
on.
He's
Yeah,
the
he is the goblin. Yeah.
He's the guy. I need to talk to him. I've never met a market maker. It's like, aren't they just like these beings that really don't exist, but they're like somewhere and they just randomly pop up?
Yeah. I mean, they're traders just like us. You know, they win, they lose.
Hmm. But they just have a ton of money to play with, so they can actually like affect things.
Yeah, yeah, they make the market. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
What's up, Ralph?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, there were bad quotes, Blade Man. I had some bad ones too. As soon as my inverted, all I could think about was Geronimo talking last time his like quotes inverted and he got filled on the wrong side and was losing. I was just like, I'm not trading this, and I just stopped trading as soon as they inverted. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, dude, I switched to light speed. No more drama.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been good.
You know what I did though is I tried to be shisty. I'm going to confess something. We're going to have sync confession. I totally put in limit orders like 2 points below bid to see if I could get filled. I had multiple limit orders below Tesla, like 2 points below, 3 points below, just seeing if I could steal somebody's like options that they were putting.
You were invoking the spirit of Booth. Nice.
I was just like, hey, if stuff's getting screwed up, I'm not marketing in this stuff. But if
No,
like
man,
if people are
you
getting
can't.
filled 5 points below, I'm just gonna put a limit order down here and see if like I get filled. I didn't. So
I mean, we've seen weirder things, right?
yeah, I was like, man, I'll make a quick like 5 points on 10 contracts or something if the market wants to fill me 5 points below the bid. So I totally just put in limit orders and I was just like, let's see what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lance would have to explain this better, but basically, when market makers are in trouble, that's when you can literally market in, um, and get filled at the bid, and then mark it out and get filled at the ask. Because when a stock is gamma squeezing, they're so desperate for liquidity that they'll basically take the loss just to take your order.
Hmm.
So,
I'm gonna have to have
little dirty
Lance on
trick.
sometime to kind of talk about it. Like I'd love to understand part of that side of the market because I mean overall I'm fairly young in the market. Like you've been doing this for a long time. There's some other people here that have been doing this for a long time. And I'd love to kind of listen to what he says about how and what happens at those bigger levels. It's not really anything I've spent Not honestly, not really something I know a ton about.
Yeah. No, it's definitely worth talking to him. He's got a lot of experience, knowledgeable guy.
I'll shoot him a message next week since we have Monday off. We have a long. I was
Yeah.
totally surprised we had Monday off.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a market closure date. I guess get another day off.
Yeah, I don't like days off as much. I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I have Monday off. And the golf courses around here, there's not even any open tee times. She's like, oh, darn, you'll have to spend time with your family. I was like, ugh, is there something else I can
Dude,
do?
day, days off just means I get a list of 20 to 30 chores I gotta knock out
Hmm.
instead of being in my warm, comfortable chair.
Do you have one of those super nice chairs?
I do.
Oh, I'm in this office and I've sent like you and some other people a picture, but I'm building, this is a temporary office. This will be a future baby room slash guest bedroom.
Yeah.
But the upstairs has a bonus space and I'm building an office up there. I'm cutting the bonus space in half and building my own office. And,
Uh-huh.
I'm totally going to get one of those like best chair you can get, like nice ones that I've seen out there and be like, I'm going to sit in this thing.
Yeah, one of those ridiculous like limited edition Miller chairs.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Are
Yeah,
they are they worth it?
it's a docking station for your ass.
It makes you want to trade.
Yes. It's like when the mothership engages with a smaller saucer and it goes yeah, it's amazing.
I'm gonna have to get one of those because
Yeah.
I wanted to go full out on that thing, and I've got a massaging thing now that like can put over your shoulders and kind of hold there, like one of those things I guess that you can see at those stores and all, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I definitely I know the chairs you're talking about aren't massaging chairs, but I want to make that an office that I want to be in.
I mean, you spend 6 hours a day. That's 25% of your life you spend sitting down looking at red and green bars.
Hmm.
Might as well be comfortable.
And then if you're in here at night doing stuff like this or the shows that you do every night, and then you get like, other stuff, emails and the different stuff, and just playing games and all, it's like you're in your chair
Oh, dude,
so much. It's like
so much.
of
If you
all the,
think about it, it's crazy.
I'm probably in my chair more than I sleep, to be honest with you, because I don't sleep. I mean, I sleep, but I don't sleep more than 6 hours a day. You
Yeah,
know,
I don't get more than 6 hours a night.
You're a busy man. You probably get all of like 3 hours a night. You're like Jocko or like these crazy guys that are just
I
on YouTube
Well, the
all day.
problem is I got like three other things going on outside of trading. So when I'm done trading, I'm like taking phone calls, going to meetings, and yeah, it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And answering angry emails.
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
Dude, I'm going to make your life a living hell because Eddie's gone now. And so there's no one to delete my messages and you don't pay
Oh
attention sometimes
shit,
to chat. So I'm going to go
you can
full.
start spamming me.
I'm gonna start spamming in chat just like stuff that's just so stupid that you're like, I have to delete all this, and you're gonna
I
have to
have to
pay more.
deal with this.
You're gonna tell Amber to work overtime
I got to
tonight.
deal with this Jack Russell Terrier jumping up and down.
It's like every time he says something, Cater's just going political. It's like I'm kicking him out until Eddie gets
Oh my
back.
god.
I'm gonna like
Um,
I meant to text Eddie and tell him like, hey, just so you know, you're not there to block my posts anymore, so I'm gonna make everybody really
exactly.
upset.
Let the purge begin.
Yes, it's like anybody who's soft and doesn't like me saying like really mean things about everything, no matter what it is, I'm just gonna start saying really mean things about everything in chat.
Dude, I just kind of gave up. Like, I get emails, my voice is too loud, my voice is too soft, I'm too angry, I'm too nice, I'm too cynical. It's like, oh my God.
It's like
How about we talk about day trading?
you have your wife in the room with you, but it's from all angles. So no matter which way
Yes.
you go,
Oh, forget it, dude.
she probably
Crazy.
has multiple chats. She's in there and she's just telling you different things to mess with you.
Wouldn't be surprised. She and Amber are teaming up.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's obviously I don't run one like you. I just in the Discord and the stuff like that. But it is like if especially I think when people are paying for something like that, I don't know. They get and not you don't have to say anything because obviously you work in the stuff. But people get it's like where they have an expectation and sometimes not, and expect said expectation has to be fulfilled of how things should be, which is partially sometimes why they might be losing, but they have this expectation and it screws them up, and they focus more on the complaining about the things and finding a reason, or finding this other stuff, as opposed to just accepting what something is and putting yourself into the environment to be successful. It's like, if I am joining, like, this is, I think, and to get kind of on topic to trading, this is, I think, what made me semi-successful early in mark strategies, other than the market was just going up, was, it's like, okay, I'm nobody. It's like I'm in a sense nothing. Okay, so now I'm coming into this atmosphere. I have no right to say anything. I'm going to sit down and put myself into this and like adapt to the environment and learn success out of it. I'm not jumping into it and being like complaining about one thing or another. Like, there's always something not to like. Who cares? Shut up. Figure it out. I'm being kind of mean, but I'm practicing for next week when Eddie's not here.
You're sharpening your blade.
I'm
We have a lot of people who are like, financial analysts, bankers, people who are in finance before, and who are obviously very, very intelligent. But it's a combination of a very difficult bear market that we're in,
Mhm.
and the fact that it's really hard to accept. I think once you've been successful, you've made money in finance, that day trading is difficult,
Mhm.
and it's something that you have to learn from scratch, and you got to go, if you're a karate black belt and you walk into a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, you got to wear that goofy ass white belt, you know what I mean, and that gi that looks like diapers until you wear them for 4 weeks and break them in. So
Yep.
I think a lot of people struggle with that, and then they end up taking it out on little things, because day trading is really, really hard,
It is.
you know.
I was thinking, and not knocking anybody in chat, or if you're in chat and then you also come over here, this is not directed towards specific people, and this isn't every chat room I've been in, and or anything I've ever seen. So I'm not speaking specifically to people. And what up, Andrew? What up, Blake? Cheers. Good to see you around, Andrew. Is and by the way, is people almost want to make those excuses, or it's like, well, I'm not successful because I'm not, like, they're almost looking to follow. And I say this on most of the shows on YouTube, but it's like you want to get into a room and someone tell you the exact entry and the exact exit on every single trade, and like almost like trade for you, as opposed to teaching you to trade or trading along beside you. And I've never seen our room, and from Discord to the NewsBeat live room, and any of that. And if you guys want info to the NewsBeat live room, DM me in here, drop me a comment on YouTube. I'll get you info there. That's where Geronimo, Kelly, Eddie, all of us trade over there. If you wanna join that, let me know. Send me some stuff, and I'll get you the info to join the room. But we're if you in order to be successful, in my opinion, doing that, you have to think in the terms of coming alongside people and learning and adapting and like taking it. It's not a holding the hand process to where somebody else is trading for you. That can be very dangerous. And I see people get hurt and fail when they kind of almost want like you, in a sense, to trade for them, or Kelly to trade for them. And like, well, when was his exact entry? Why didn't he say like the exact second that he clicked buy? Why wasn't it hotkeyed to say in this room that he entered at this exact second for me? Why didn't his
Yeah,
entry enter for me?
yeah. I mean, just like, it's like saying, I don't know. You get me into an armbar, therefore you can get Marcelo Garcia into an armbar.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Uh, there's a lot more to trading successfully, than like assuming you mimic someone's entries and exits perfectly, right? Assuming like there's software that links our two platforms together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
thought experiment. No, nobody call compliance. Just thought experiment. Like, once that trade is entered, you and I are seeing two different, completely different Escher tests, right? We're seeing, not you and me, but like
yeah,
the
yeah.
two people in the trade are seeing totally different things happening. And we're going to manage that reality totally differently. And it doesn't matter what I say. Okay, I'm looking for 276.07 in the queues off of 274.10 entry. If you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the understanding of what's happening, if you have doubts, if you don't have the education, if you don't have the capital, if you have the toxicity that's built up for 6 months, you're maybe going to make 20 cents on that trade and bail. And then you're going to be super toxic and it's going to pop $1.30. So you're going to tilt on the next one and lose. Or because you were giving yourself every chance to make those 20 cents, you're going to let it go $2 against you to make 20 cents and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to lose regardless. So that's why, following people just blindly, I don't think that's what these rooms are meant to do. I think they're meant to share trading ideas, right? If I say, hey, I really like this inverse head and shoulders neckline break on Facebook, and I think this is where it can go today, that's an idea that I can share with the group and everybody can trade it based on their trading plan, right? If you don't have a trading plan and you're just going off somebody else's entries and exits, you know, your emotions are going to take over. There's
You're
no
in
trading plan that's going to save you.
you're in serious trouble if that's what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
you're really looking to get hurt. Let's see. So I'm going to, and in that, here's what I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys a trade. And I actually thought I'm going to show you a recording of my screen. I messed up. Well, I didn't mess up. So what you're seeing now is just a Q chart. I'm just looking for the right time. So we're looking at basically, I took this trade. So this is why I'm showing at 12:38. So let me jump over to the video. So this is a video, a screen recording. Let's go to 12, or did I say 12:38? No, that's not the right time. Okay, here we go. So,
That was such a nice setup.
dude, this was an
I remember
amazing.
that one.
Yep.
I said, "What? Wait for the pullback," right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was nice.
So, JR called this. So, if you guys are watching this and you're like, man, I don't know how to make money, I don't know how to do this. I was up moderate today, a 4-figure day, low to mid 4-figure day. And there had been platform issues. So, like, I had stopped trading and I was happy with my day. I could have logged off. But this was setting up and I saw this and then JR said it. And meaning like I was looking for this and then he was confirming my stuff. And this is what I want to say with, and we're going to talk about tape reading here. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about tape reading a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the overall setup. And I'm going to try to combine these two things into something to help you guys see a midday play and even a morning play with what you can be looking for in these names. So let's see. I haven't practiced doing this, so let's go through it. So we're looking at 10 o'clock. So what happened midday, guys? Why you don't see my level 2 up here? This is my screen recording. Why you don't see my level 2 is I had to restart Fidelity in the middle of the day because of all the issues with it, and I was trying to get it to work, and I forgot to go back into OBS and turn back on my, like you have to relink OBS to your Fidelity for it to show up in here, and I forgot to do that because I was trading. So you don't see that here. So we're just going to talk about it without seeing the actual level 2. But you're going to see the chart and you're going to see it live, which I think there's some benefit to that. Sorry that we don't see the exact thing because you can't see kind of the prints over here. But we'll just generally talk about it. So we see this 274.10 was a level and has been a level. It's been a level for a little bit and it bounced off today and it hit really good. I shorted some of these, and what I was doing in here was actually shorting light. Every time it hit it, I would short it just a little bit because you could see on the level 2, and JR, you can kind of, if you could see me, you kind of talk about what I see when I see something failing. These wicks, they'll slightly break above a level. So on the level 2, you see your prints going off, and you'll see green, 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 or a little bit of poppity pop, and it's almost like a hammer hits it on the head, and it's like a mole. And I think about it in my head anyway as like whack-a-mole, and like it's trying to pop through the thing and something's hitting it down. And when I'm seeing that, it's generally telling me, okay, this isn't going to break through yet. This isn't going to break through yet. And so I'm looking at the cues in here, and the cues are doing this little whack-a-mole game where they're coming up to 274.10, and then they're kind of bouncing off. And if you look
Yep.
at that little chart, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right.
And you can see that it's happening here. And yeah, it's going up there, but if I let this play, so let's actually let it play. I'm going to let this play. I'm going to jump it forward because that's a 1-minute chart. 30 seconds forward. So I'm just going to let this play. How do you, and you've said it before, like you see it happening in kind of threes. So look at it hitting here, guys. Look at what it does. Like slowly, it's not really, now it's midday, so it's slower, but it's not really printing through. It's just kind of going up there. There's no real speed. You can also see the cues here on a 2-minute chart. Yeah, it's a 2-minute, green takes red, but it's not really doing anything. It's into resistance, and it's just instantly failing.
Yep.
So should you really be buying a breakout through this level right now based on the level 2? You can't see the level 2, but just based on this, should you really be taking this early, or should this be a resistance point? Because let's look at the chart overall. Let me jump back to my other chart. And please jump in, JR, or at any point, or correct me if I'm kind of like...
No, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
So we bounce above, this is my head, we bounce above this key level. I've got it, this color, you know why it's this color? It's this color on JR's thing, so I put it there so I would know, like on his levels he gives, if there's an important one, he puts it there. So I put it there. So what do I see? I see we busted above it, and then what do? We pull right back into it. And when we retest here, we don't retest and go higher. That's a bull sign for like, oh, we're going to have some good continuation. No, we hit it, bounce, and hammer and fail through it. Okay, so this is going to be, okay, so this is definitely kind of a key level. All right, we bounce around, we come back in it, we get right back in it. We're just kind of chopping around. The cues were messing up in here, or Fidelity was, so I wasn't trading. Now what are we doing? We're kind of platforming. And I'll jump back to the other video, but what I'm seeing is we're just hitting, kind of breaking above a little bit, going back down. But if I can draw a line, and I'm not sure which one of these draws the kind of line I'm looking for, we're angling up. What do you call this, like a ledge?
Yeah, it's really a little bit of an ascending triangle there
Mm.
because you've got a flat top and higher lows.
Mm. And you're just, so an ascending triangle, I think I remember you calling it that. And so it's going up, and it's still at this level. I'm not trading it necessarily at this level here. And JR said he was waiting for the trade to break out and then come back and test it.
Correct.
So when he says that, you know what trade he's looking for. You know what trade we're sitting here waiting for. And we waited from basically sometime around 12:30 to about 30 minutes we sat here and waited for the cues to break out, get higher, and maybe you caught this breakout. I actually think I might have traded some of this breakout light and then sold, and then waited for the pullback. And you wait for this pullback, and I want to show you guys why I'm talking about this and hopefully making a little bit of sense. Let's jump back to this video. And it's still playing here. You can just see what the price action is doing. So let's jump up to when it breaks out. And I want to see if there's a difference in the chart when this breaks out. See, we're still not breaking out. We're still kind of whack-a-moling and just jumping around. All right, so is this the one where it breaks? This might be the one where it breaks out. All right, so here we go. We're still whack-a-moling. We're slightly above. I think you might have been saying it this time, like, hey, this is going to go. I have a feeling if I was watching the level 2 would not look like what it looked like the last times that this got whacked down. Do you remember? Yeah, go
You
ahead.
start seeing prints just flow nonstop. When you're into that 274.10 level, there's a lot of price discovery and a lot of choppy selling. So you'll see 274.10, 274.12, 274.8, 274.10, 274.8. So, and then it typically goes in three spurts. And then if you don't make a lower low and it holds like 274.8, and then you start exploring like 12s and 13s, and then your lows will become 10s in the prints, right? I'll start paying more attention. But then at that point, what I want to see is prints that just start flowing without stopping. So just like a waterfall of prints with that kind of pattern where I'm not seeing lower prints, I'm only seeing higher prints. So that's typically what this candle we're looking at would look like.
And it would be like, and this is all the way up to 55 cents. So it would be, 274.10, 274.20, 274.30. Okay, now 274.28, 274.24, 274.28, 274.32.
Yeah.
227.26, 274.40, and so you just start seeing them kind of flow in the
Yeah.
direction that you're wanting the stock to go. Now it's pulling down here, and that's fine. It probably doesn't look like it's flushing. It probably just looks like a random big dump, like profit taking a little bit lower, but it's just kind of getting bought. And at this point, it's fine because if you bought the breakout, that's fine. You can still be in it. But if I'm remembering correctly, what you're really waiting for is a pop and then a good retest of that low. And I want to show, so at
Yeah.
this point,
Digestive volume
yeah.
and consolidation. Exactly.
And you want to see how it reacts when it hits there. And I'm taking levels or something. I'm trying to pick where I want to hold this to because I'm in this trade at this point.
Yeah. If you look at the volume in that chart on the 2 minute, you see like you definitely see. Oh no, that's into the
It's right here.
breakout. Yeah.
I can go on your chart too if you share your screen, by the way, if at one point you want to.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. You don't have to be nice. But you can, I also look at stuff like how much of a candle did something retrace. So let's jump forward a little bit because we know that this bounces up again. And so I'm not zoomed in, but you can see the 2 minute chart here. So we're back into it. A lot of you guys, if you were in this trade, might sell here. Or become scared or whatever it is. This is the retest. This is the first of two retests. This is the retest after the breakout of 74.10. You want this retest to happen, and then you want to see what happens when the price hits that level. And you want to see if it just hits it and cuts through it, or if you start seeing bids go off. So let's watch this candle. You can see the prints here. We're coming into 274.10 or 274.18. I'm just watching it. This thing should be playing 274.15, 274.12, 274.8. All right, we broke 7, 8. So we're not just flushing. We're not flushing 274.10, 274.16. Okay, I like this. It's still going to go higher. 274.18, 274.13. Little drop there. It's fine. It's just bouncing back up. It's going to bounce around. That's fine. There's no reason to get scared. We're not just tanking. It's kind of bouncing around that level, but it doesn't look like it's just selling. You're still not below the next 2 minute. You still have support. You're just bouncing around that level. Like, to me, this is not bearish tape. And look at the volume. Now we're off if you're watching this 247.19, 247.20. And this is the Qs. This is a slow moving name. It's not like we're price reading Tesla, but the principle is the same. I'm just watching this run for a little bit. And now instead of getting shaken out, assuming you're still in the trade to the long side, or maybe you sold the initial pop and you're waiting for a retest, here you go. So in this, do you buy the original breakout, or did you buy this candle, or did you kind of play both of them in different ways?
Um, I waited for the pullback. I believe I bought 274.10, and I think I added on the break of 275.21. Yeah. I was also in Facebook at that time, so it was a little hectic.
That's right. You were trading Facebook more than I was trading this. You were doing Meta.
I was in this too.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking this. So here's another quick thing, guys, is if you're looking for a play like this. So what you just saw on this pullback, I talked about this on my last show. This is at 12:44 at the exact second, Anya. So if you look at this and you look at it and you compare it to the last show I did, what did I say? When I'm talking, I'm looking to tell you guys, I'll just let this play out. I'm trying to tell you guys so let's say you missed the original breakout or you didn't want to take it. Where can I get back in a position? that, let's say Geronimo says he's already in, or Kelly or Gator or Mitchell or Rose, and someone's doing a swing trade, or they have a target like day highs or a previous pivot, and you're like, man, I missed it. You can wait for a retest near a low. So if you break out through a max level like that and you come back in and you test that support, you now have almost no risk in your trade. Like, you have minimal risk in your trade because you're basically at support. It's like if it breaks down below 240, 274, you could just get out of the trade and you only lose 20 cents or 10 cents. As opposed to chasing it up here after it breaks out and now it pulls down 50 cents and you're down 30 cents or more on contracts. Let's say, like me, you take 100 or 50 of them or something, you're down a decent amount, you're pissed off, then it pops back up again, you think it's going to go, and then you're out, and then now it's popping back down again because it hit this trend line, and now you're like, and then you take another loss and you're pissed off and you send Geronimo angry letters later because everybody else is happy and you're not happy because you lost. And you wait and it breaks out. That's fine that you missed it. I miss these all the time. Okay, I now identify, this is another part of what Geronimo talks about, and I'm trying to find a long way to say something that could probably be said in a few minutes, or a few sentences, is you understand now we're in a, what do you say, a bullish movement, a breakout. So we're now in,
Oh, you mean like a bullish sequence?
yeah, a
Yeah.
sequence. That's the word. That's the word. We're now in a bullish sequence, and you have multiple people that believe we're in a bullish sequence. You can identify that. So where can I enter this bullish sequence to be a part of the move with minimal risk to me? And what I try to do when I'm calling stuff is I try to identify that. I would not want to get in this up here or on this candle here on the breakout and chase it. I'm going to wait for the retest near a support level to give me the lowest risk entry on becoming a part of that bullish sequence. And you can do that by watching the tape, and by when it retests the support level. So if me or Geronimo or somebody else, like, I really like this 5 minute, or watch this 5 minute high, this 5 minute low, or okay, Tesla's pulling down, I think it's going higher, I'm going to wait for a 5 minute low test. That 5 minute low test comes. Watch your level 2 and see if that level 2 reacts differently when it comes into that test as it's been acting just in the chop. Are you getting buyers coming in? Are you getting that support? And you can see the cues here. And we're going to jump forward again because this goes up a little bit more. I think I sold.
Can I add something to that,
Yeah,
Gator, that I
please.
think is so in terms of identifying what you're doing? There's the old adage, novices take breakouts, professionals take retests. Definitely, that's what Gator's highlighting here, but I think there's a little bit more to that. You have to, like, there's two trains here, right? When on candle 1240, right, on the 2 minute, if you're taking that breakout, like, know that you're helping the shorts out of their position, right? It's a pain trade. It's a dirty trick. If you take that trade understanding what it is that you bought, what product you bought, right? Did you buy a bag of Frito-Lays or a $170 Wagyu steak? Not every trade is the same quality trade. If you're looking to just make, some nice cash off the pain trade, off 214.10, right? And you buy a couple of thousand shares common, that's a scalp you can take as a pain trade. But if you're going to try to buy 100 contracts into this breakout without a retest, you're asking for trouble, right? So there are different types of trades, and you really need to understand, okay, am I pulling out a sand wedge or a driver out of my bag? See what I did there?
I love it. You're getting into golf.
Damn you! You're costing me so much money, dude.
I cost you more than golf will cost you more than you can make doing this.
Dude, crazy. Anyways, so uh, it's really because I think we take all kind like I take short scalps, I take long trades, and I think people get confused.
Hmm.
And I think what Gator is saying here is super important. You you have to visualize what you think is going to happen, which was at 1240 you had a short squeeze through 274.10. People were shorting that base, hoping that they were going to get reversion back to the pivot. When it
Hmm.
didn't happen, you got your initial pop. Bears covered, right? They covered some more into 1250, right? And that was it. People covered, and then you came back and retested 274.10. If you're looking for a long with size with lots of contracts, that's the trade you're looking for. But you have to understand, okay, am I looking for a pain trade? Am I looking for a two bar scalp? Or am I looking for a trade into the 276,
Hmm.
the 276.82 area?
And
It's really important that you decide ahead of time what kind of trade it is you're looking for.
yep. And that's so some, and I'm glad you said that because I've been messaging some people about this, and people said it in chat today, and they were like, "Do you still do these Tesla quick scalps with 30 contracts, 20 contracts?" Just like, yes, almost every day. There are two. It's like you're saying, the gap wedge, the driver. You don't get on the putting green and get out your driver.
No.
It's like I'm just looking for a little like chip on the green and try to save a little, make a quick 20-cent pop here. You know,
Yeah.
and that's all you're looking for. If that's what you get and you understand what you're doing, it's like what you said, you decide beforehand. You don't come up and get on the ball and then be like, okay, I'm going to do this. It's like you decide before you walk up, and then you take your shot. And it's not going to happen, but sometimes, sure. This could have broke out and went to the moon. 90% of the time, that's not going to happen. It's
Right.
just not. The price action at noon on a Friday is not going to do that.
Nope.
But what you can assume would happen is what you're saying. It's like if you take this trade when the price action breaks above and changes, or you take this second one or something, you
Hmm.
know, it you can then start trading. It's like, oh, it's hitting support. And let's say you miss this trade and it comes back in, and we'll watch the video of what the level 2 does as soon as it taps here. But, it happens again. That's when you can start changing from like, oh, wait, look, this was resistance, and then it broke above it, and we had this happen. Like you're saying, it's short coverings, it's bouncing some, people are getting out, it comes back down to support for what now, a second time. It's like, okay, let's watch what the level 2 does here. Now, if this holds, I think we could actually get a push above this pivot, because if you saw my the chart, and you actually told me this, and I drew it, I was looking at it, but I was just eyeballing it. This line here, like, okay, so we broke above it and we came back down. What can you
It's
think is
not,
gonna
it's,
say? Go ahead.
it's not just the top line, it's the bottom line is even more important, Gator.
Hmm. I didn't even draw the
Because
bottom line.
so
Let me go to it.
draw 3:50 p.m. to today 10:38 a.m.
1050 is probably here to when? Here?
So
Yeah, right there.
yeah.
I gotta check the times. 11
So
2. Sorry. This is
3:50 p.m. to
there. You
the
go.
low of 10:38.
350 to 1038.
All right. Now move your big giant head over so people can see.
Oh yeah. Let me drop my face off this.
All right. So see how you have a really beautiful symmetrical triangle forming here on the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there's the top. I guess you didn't draw the
I did
top slide.
not on this one. It's on my other chart, but
All
the other
right.
chart's a video. I can
So
draw it.
here's
Here you go.
here's what's really significant here, and that I was trying to communicate. I guess I didn't do such a good job. See how at 12:04 you're making a significantly higher low. You don't even retest that trend line again. You don't retest the 200. You make a very significantly higher low. You pinch VWAP and you platform.
And then you're putting in higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. It's not like it's all over the place. Oh man, I missed a red
Right,
line.
exactly. So you pinch VWAP, which is the first igniting sequence, then you platform tight into 274.10. That's what's confirming that this symmetrical triangle formation is legit. Aren't even looking to wait for the third retest of the lower ascending line. They're ready to rock and roll. That's why I was looking at that break of 274.10 so eagerly.
And you're looking back, and this is why it's important to look left on charts, especially midday and stuff, when you're sitting there looking for something to play and trying to identify something, like you can clearly see zooming out that you're having
Yeah.
higher. I mean, even if you zoom out past that, I guess, like a
Yeah.
higher low, and now you have another higher low, and you're ticking back up into resistance. Like, okay,
Yeah.
if we pop here and we'll watch the video, you can actually see, like, you were super excited about this play.
Yeah. And we drew this pattern out in real time, uh, extrapolated the breakout. It was nice.
Yeah, we're not just doing this armchair quarterback at night. If you were in the room at noon today, you guys could have watched this. So if you want to join T3 or anything or trade with Geronimo and all that, you can hit up and join the room, because this was literally a trade. You were talking about this for probably 15 minutes.
I was waiting. Yeah.
You were sitting like you were like a gator. Like you should be the gator. You were sitting here like I'm, waiting in the weeds for this to sit, and then it was like a gazelle goes up to drink
Yep.
the water, and you just bit its head off and
We
away
had the
with it.
machete ready. Yeah.
It just chopped it down. It
It's
was
nice.
it was complete murder, and
Nice.
so part of the trade is identifying what you're doing, where you're at, developing the idea before you actually get out and take the trade, and then we've said this before, not letting your scalps turn into necessarily swings or your swings turn into scalps. You have a trade idea, let that trade idea work, and if you're wrong, learn what was wrong and learn to adapt your trade idea. Like, it's okay to be wrong, but when you see something like this and you have a lot of people calling it and you retest this level for the second time, I went very heavy, guys, on
And
this
it was a higher
retest.
low gator.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Didn't
some
even retest that hammer low.
This is something else I look at too when you guys are talking price action. I think this is what you're saying too, Geronimo. It's like this
Hmm.
higher low here is 7404. This higher low is not even, they didn't even test the 10. It was
Yeah.
27412 and
They couldn't even
27411.
get it. They couldn't even get it to retest the shakeout hammer low.
Yeah.
Correct.
If I was not in it on these two candles, which looks like a what, like what type of chart pattern, whatever, like this little bottom here on the 2-minute chart, this is
Mhm.
even a 1-minute chart, you better guarantee, I'm like, okay, this next one didn't even go. I'm
Yeah.
in this, and I was in this very heavy. I made more, like this was my biggest trade of the day by far. I was incredibly heavy into this trade. Just because of that. And I don't want to show, I would show it. I don't mind showing that, but not for the sake of showing what I made. It doesn't matter, but just for showing the actual price action. So let's watch the price action here and see what Geronimo was talking about. Watch the price action as we come in to 274.10. And know at this point in your trade, you've identified, hey, we're in a bullish sequence. We've decided that we're probably, if we hold this 274.10 level, going to day highs. I've identified this is not a 1-minute trade and a scalp. I'm going to take this. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to have my exit points along the way to finance my trade. I'm going to get out at R1. I'm going to take 25% more at this level, and then the final bit at day highs. So watch this as it comes in. Look at that price action. I wish I had my level 2. It tested it for a second, instantly bounced almost 6 cents, 10 cents. Back down to 13, 15, 13. Not even getting lower. Didn't even retest 12. 15, 14, boom, 19. Tested here, 16, 25, 24. Oh, we're going, okay. 15, that's fine. 17, we're just bouncing around. Look at this price action. This is what This is what we're talking about when we say tape, right? Put my face back up on here. I'm just watching this. Just watch the price action. At support, you have the support line. Geronimo provides these daily. 11, 12. What are we going to do when we retest here? Are we going lower? Nope. Bounce. So you're not punching it down. Every time it gets down to that level, look how quickly it bounces, like 20 or like 10 cents, 20 cents. That's
Yep.
very bullish price action off of support for me.
Extremely. And can I add something to that?
Please.
Not all trades are created equal, right? Like we all constantly talk about risk, reward, and probability. There are some trades that are extremely low risk, right? Because you have that support line right there at 274.10, and our target was the height was at 276.07, right? The height of the symmetrical triangle there. So that's a $2.25 move on what you could have given yourself 30 cents of risk, maybe. That's an
A lot.
8-to-1 risk reward. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? On a trade that's really high probability, given the price action and what it was doing.
And in
So,
a name where you
yeah.
didn't have to risk a lot.
No, you really didn't. You really, really did.
And for the people who like, oh, you could have gotten shaken out, like look at what the price action is doing here. You could be like, oh, this is so hard, or it's whatever to take. If you're in a trade like this and you enter a trade like this, once you pick a level, you need to pick a stop. And in my opinion, it needs to be lower, more than 1 or 2 cents below that, like 270. Like it should have been 274 probably. I would assume maybe that would be a good stop. I don't know if you would have had a lower one.
I would have set it wider.
Okay, you would have set it wider.
I mean, there's an army of algos just looking to take your stops, and you know, the problem is that all these retail traders, they don't have server side stops, so their stops are posted.
Yeah.
They see your stops.
Well, I say stop. I mean visual. I
Oh,
never
okay,
put in hard
gotcha.
stops.
Roger.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like if you're putting in hard stops, I think there's a reason a lot of hard stops that are 2 cents below the algo or 2 cents below your stop level gets taken.
Yep.
But I'm just
Yeah.
speaking like visual.
Yeah, I always like to set my stop at a place that's less obvious, right? Like some people will do like the bottom wick of a hammer, and oftentimes like the algos will take it 2 cents past the bottom wick of the hammer, and all they're doing is literally just grabbing inventory, cheap shares, and then they go on their inventory run, shake everybody out, and then rip it higher. So, you know, that's a little bit more of a dark art than a science.
That's what Lance does. Or did. That's how Lance did that to you guys. You guys are all like, man, like this always happens to me, and secretly it's just Lance doing that to you.
Take it up with him.
Write him an email. Stop emailing Eddie and JR.
Exactly.
It's the market makers. And this is a long time watching this, but at no point like in this move was I worried, because it never looked like on the tape that we were going to break 274.10. Like it just never did.
And I always look at these moves in the context of the greater pattern, which is a beautiful bull wedge, a much higher low test, and then a platform. Like everything about this is, signaling to me that we're going to put in an even higher pivot low and rip, because you're breaking that wedge pattern, and there's no more sellers, right? So it's almost like you see a guy throw a jab across. The likelihood of a hook coming next is like super high, and there's a breakout off the retest. So you got to read the body language of the price action, and it's a skill, but it's, I think, worth acquiring.
And it's time in front of the chair. Like for the last 3 or 4 months when I've had time, like I'm sure I'm still learning these, but I would do stuff like this, but I would do it with really small size, and I would just watch and wait, and I would try to take them and try to hold, because when you go from scalping and from every trade is like, I would have sold this trade not long ago, right now, because you're up 20 cents, you have 100 contracts, like 2 grand, okay, I'm good. But that wasn't the idea of the trade going into the trade. It was like, I was hitting a drive here. I was on the tee box. I was on a par five, and I was going to hit this down the fairway. And my first target, using the golf metaphor, was, I think, above, slightly above R1 or something like that. Like, I don't remember. I think it was that first pivot. I was going to take 25% off or something.
Sure.
And and then so you have that plan, and you just start executing it. But there's all these things that go into it, and it's not super complicated, because you just watch kind of on the chart the price action play out at a level, at a support level after it went through. It's not overly complicated, but it's harder than it seems, and it does take time to kind of learn and get used to.
Sure. Absolutely. There's a you have to visualize what you expect to happen. So there's that at let's see, 1250, right? There's that 275.11 high. So if you limit in around 274.10, you're thinking, okay, do we let's now we're going to try reattempt a breakout. Do we have price acceptance of that 275.11 to 275.15 level? Okay, great. You watch the tape go, right? Maybe you if you're very concerned, you can maybe raise your stop a little bit. So now you're printing 275.07, 275.11, 275.19, right? And you're getting past that first hurdle. And at that point, you're looking at R1, and you have to kind of extrapolate what the trade is going to do and be very aware of the levels. So as you're reading tape, watching the time and sales, and watching your level two, you start getting comfortable saying, okay, I see what we're doing here. Now we're breaking that 1250 275.11 high. Okay. Now are we, so now it's 1:06 p.m., right? Are we revisiting any lower lows? No. Okay. 1:08 p.m. Are we making any lows? No. So we're price action wise, we're in a complete breakout, and you don't revisit a new low until 1:16, right? So if you're not thinking this way and understanding how price moves, it's very difficult to hold on to these trades.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very difficult psychologically, because all you're seeing is green on your screen, and there's a little voice in your head going, holy shit, there's
Yeah.
free money, let's take it. And that's how a lot of beginners get tripped up.
I feel like it happened here at R1. Let me see. I've got another chart off screen I'll look at. I feel like it happened at R1. Yeah, it pulls in here. And I did not. Does it pull in here? No, it doesn't. Like, you could have been tempted to sell at R1.
At 104.
Yeah. Like
Yep.
right here when it hit. And it kind of pulled off of it. If you were just scared and it
Yeah.
pulled back a little bit, you totally could have been like, okay, it's going to go back down. It's not going to go higher. It went higher than the last pivot. It's going to pull back down. And you could have just jumped out of this trade when the trade had more to go. This wasn't the end of the trade. Maybe you take profits here to help yourself hold the rest of the trade better. But this isn't the end of the trade. I'm not sure where my screen is.
That's where your trading plan comes in, right? So if your trading plan says when you take a breakout that you're not going to take profits until you make a new 2-minute low, that keeps you in the trade,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because look at candles: 1 o'clock, 1:02, 1:04, 1:06, 1:08, climactic at 1:10, retest at 1:12. We don't make a lower low until 1:16 p.m.
Yep.
when we've already hit target.
Yep.
So if you're, I mean, you have to get this literal in your trading plan. So if you're trading a breakout, and this is what, like, you're getting into this trade expecting a breakout, and that's what you get. So if you're in the trade expecting a breakout, why would you sell the trade if you don't make a lower 2-minute low?
Not 1
You know
minute,
what I
two
mean?
minute. You should definitely raise your, like, I agree with the 2 minute
Yeah.
for sure.
1 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
Where this is where we live.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I do the same. Like sometimes when you guys hear me say in Discord, I have no reason to sell this. Sometimes what I'm saying is there's no lower lows coming in. It's like it's literally no 2 minute bars breaking down. So until I get
Right.
an actual breakdown or I hit target, why would I sell? It's just like it's running. So you're like, man, how do you know when to hold? Well, we're in a bullish sequence. We just tested support, be it an hour pivot, and then I will answer the question, sorry, in a second, of how this JR can the 274.10 support was determined. But it's like, yeah, there's just no lower lows, and we're going straight to my target. And that target can be a fib line. It could be the Kelly 127 line. It could be a measured move. It could be whatever it is. I'm going to target, and I haven't had a 2 minute breakdown yet, and we're just literally going up. Yeah, sure. There's a little bit of, if I've still got this video playing, you've got, yeah, a little bit of slowing down price action, but like I'm pretty sure right at this point I left. Like I wasn't even at my computer, and I was in 100+ contracts and literally walked out, and I was like, I'm good. And I set a stop loss, actually set a hard stop loss in my option contracts, like way down to where I would almost break even just in case, so I wouldn't lose. And I was like, whatever. And I went to get food, and just because I had complete confidence that this thing was going, and I was very green on it. I took profits right here. This was my first profit take, was just
Nice.
above R1 for whatever reason. I don't remember, but I took some there, and then I took enough to where I could lose. I think I could, it was impossible to lose on the trade at this point. So I set a break even stop loss on the other half, went to make my lunch, came back and finished the rest of the trade.
Yeah.
And this doesn't happen every day, but trades like this happen. And the concepts that JR and I are talking about set themselves up if you're zooming out and looking for them.
Yeah. For sure. Also, like you should always be asking if your goal is to trade a breakout and not a broad channel or a tight channel or a range. You're saying I'm trading this breakout. Like look at the volume. Is the angle of the volume ascent this almost identical to the angle of the bars?
Like, look at this one, guys. I can't see this. Sorry. Let me go back to this here and look at the 1 and the 2 minute here on this breakout. Look at the 2 minute here and the bars. Look at that.
The answer is yes, right?
Yes. The answer is yes.
So are you making new 2 minute lows? The answer is no. So you need to start asking yourself and filling in the blanks for to answer the question, is this trading behaving properly? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? And like Gator said, if it is, and you haven't hit target, then why are you selling the trade? Like the trade works for you. You're risking the capital. You're the investor, right? The trade's your employee. Let it do its job.
The worst thing you can do, and it's probably the worst thing you can do with an employee too, is change your mind after you've decided something every 5 seconds
Hmm.
because you're unsure or unconfident. It's like you have to have confidence in what you're doing, and you have to trust what you're doing in the process of what's happening. And if you set an idea for a trade and this support that's hitting and all this other stuff, and also you can see here, by the way, on the 2 minute, when it broke out, you have a retest of the 2 minute 21, another good bull sign for the breakout. Or I'm not showing you guys that, sorry, on the breakout, just another thing here.
Yeah, you had like all of the things converging on this trade. It's such a good setup.
Yeah, it's rare that I like with complete and utter confidence in a trade had no doubt about that trade failing at that point in the day.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice setup for sure.
And we're not doing this just to harp on one trade, and I'm not showing my entry and my exit on the stuff. I'm not going into Fidelity and pulling it up to show. I don't think it's needed, but the concept of what we're looking at, this applies to Tesla first thing in the morning. This applies to what Kelly talked about when he's on the show, what me and JR talk about every time he comes on the show. there's a plan and there's an idea of something that you're looking for, and you're taking it and you're letting it happen and you're letting it work. And there are plenty of times when I come in to a trade beforehand, especially really early in Tesla, if I'm trading heavy, that and this might be wrong and maybe I'll grow out of this, but I'm not necessarily looking for that whole move. I am buying 20 to 30 contracts looking for a 1 point pop to 2 point pop, and maybe I get lucky and it rips. If we're in a bullish sequence, I recognize that. I do give trades more time, but I'm looking for that quick scalp. Okay, I'm in that quick scalp. Boom, 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 and I try to catch a few of those if it's a bull or bear day, and then I lock it in and I tear down, and now I'm looking overall what's happening. Now that we have morning volatility out, it's like, okay, now where are we at and what are we doing as a market?
Yeah, that's the ticket.
And so both things happen. Both things are true. It's not like the old C strategies and those concepts. That all that still works and is still active, but you have to understand what you're in and what you're looking for. And every trade is not a 30 cent to a point pop. Some trades are a breakout trade like this Q run, and other trades are the initial just break of the Q thing where you're just taking that little VWAP pinch and you're looking for 10 or 20 cents. You take it, you sell, and you're good, and then you wait for the retest, or you hold a runner and add to your position or something like that, depending on what your strategy is. But you really have to follow that strategy, understand what you think the price action is going to do, and then let that trade work.
Yeah, I mean it's all about understanding the kind of merchandise you're dealing with. Like a lot of times when we're falling into a level and it's very high liquidity, like say I don't know, when the Qs are getting shorted to shit into like 271.28
Mm-hmm.
or like a whole number like 271, and we're printing like 270.89, I literally have a buy stop at 270.03 to take it to 270.29, because I know that the minute they take it over 270, shorts are going to cover and I'm going to get a free 30-cent pop. It's just like you start seeing kind of free money everywhere, but you have to understand what the potential of the trade is and articulate what the idea is very carefully, and not just randomly be buying and selling, right?
Yeah.
So like I call that a yo-yo trade, right? Basically, you're falling into a high level of liquidity on a whole number. You let it pop under, and then you set a buy stop like 5 cents above the whole number for a 20-cent move, maybe a 50-cent move in Tesla. And those are just like little dirty secrets you pick up as a day trader. And like I do that all day long, and I
Mm-hmm.
just keep on, packing the P&L with that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
I do the same
like you,
thing.
yeah, and like you have to. The problem with and this is why I don't call my scalps out all day long, is a lot of people are a little bit lost in terms of what what is the goal of this trade. And that's why I'm concerned about people following other people blindly, right? You really have to be 100% sure what it is you're trying to accomplish there, you know.
Yeah, you do. And that's why you need to come up with your own trade strategy and idea. And we'll get to a couple questions. What was the what was the 274 or 10 pivot? I had to look back on my charts. What was that pivot? Was
An
that
hourly. I mean,
an
like
hourly?
99% of my. So
Let's
if you look
see.
at the 13th and the 14th, that
Oh, I
was that
see.
entire range, and then you finally broke out. Like you gapped up um, off that wick that undercut that level,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day you exploded higher. So now that level is a big, big pivot.
So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
basically, the bottom of the 614,
Yeah,
was never there. It broke below it, and then just boom, busted out. So now that low was undercut and then showed a support, this is now a level of intraday support on the hourly.
Exactly. So people always like want a formulaic answer from me. This is pretty much as formulaic as it gets. The that candle on 11 o'clock on 614 put the pivot low for that entire move until that form cam candle undercut it. Whenever you have a spring, I pay really you have to look to the left, right? So that's the 4 p.m. candle, right?
This
So
one?
whenever I get that, yeah, so whenever I get that spring, that one,
Mm-hmm.
I look to the left to see what the lowest low was before in the sequence, and that becomes a level, especially when you gap up massively, because then that becomes a big demand zone.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can see what happened the next day, and then
Yep.
this. We come back into it. Look what happened after it hit it on this hour. Like you hit it, you drop below it. Look at that drop.
Yep.
We eventually start
Nasty.
the bullish sequence back up to it, and then
Yep.
and there we
It's
go.
hard to see in the hourly, but yeah, that
Yeah.
level has been important.
Yeah, you can look at different charts and stuff and see how it reacts. And it's in and two, guys can go and you look for stuff like this and you can see how it reacts on different time frames to it, because sometimes it's hard to see just on one time frame. Like you see the level, but it is hard sometimes to see on one time frame where it's at. And everyone has different ones. There's different time. Yeah, but that to answer that question, that's how JR got that level. And I have learned that I don't really question the levels. I just like trade them. It's like if he has a line that's a different color on his chart, I'm like, makes sense to me.
You're so stupid.
I am though. I just look
The
at it, it's like,
levels will not be questioned.
it's like I will not question any of them. It's like, do you know why these lines are on your chart? It's like, nope.
No idea.
It's like, what's that line there for? It's like, I don't know. It's just there. It's like, do you make money off of it? It's like, yeah, sometimes. No, I keep the lines on my charts. It's like I look back and try to look at night to see like what they are. You could see this 73.34. I actually shorted off of this a couple of times, maybe other names,
Yeah.
but you can see it hits and fails like many times, and then it actually
Yep.
busts through it here. I know I made money on this level several times the other day. So yeah, but yeah, you can see
Yeah.
stuff like
No,
that. Or you
they're
could just
relevant for sure.
yeah. So and the beauty of learning how to do this stuff is then you never know when you want to go back on your chart and figure stuff out and kind of compare it. If you can put these lines on and learn how to make money off levels you create, as opposed to just scalping your stuff. But I'm just going to scalp your stuff and kind of stay stupid. It's like why be an A student when I can just be a C student and get by?
Get the cliff notes.
I'm gonna get the cliff notes, man. I'm just gonna get your cliff notes and get by. I'm the college grad that just like I'm not even a college grad, but I'm just the college grad that gets the notes after the fact, and it's like, yeah, I graduated. It's like, do you learn anything? Nah.
Dude,
Just,
I went to college. I don't think I learned anything important in college other than my social security number.
you had to memorize that because you had to say it so many times.
Yep.
There's also a little tweezer bottom on the 5 minute if you had your 5 minute chart open here.
Hmm.
So many different. I think you said that at the time too. You were like tweezer bottom on the 5 minute.
Oh yeah, we traded the crap out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And into the close, yeah.
Yep, I remember that. I actually took this one, and then which one failed? Oh, this one failed. The
The one
retest.
big fail was the last Apple trade today, where it
Yes.
looked like it was consolidating. But that's the thing, like my favorite kind of trade are trades where it's a tiny little bit of risk, but things are set up in a way that they have a potential to really make a big move. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like those too. And even in Tesla moves. So if we were to go to Tesla and some of these other charts, what am I doing here? I do the same thing that JR is talking about on a smaller level intraday on these names. I'm looking for the same general things. I'm looking for these support levels and these resistance levels intraday. Um, I'm trying to identify what's happening on the chart. Let's see, like, let's just use, here's an easy one right here. Today, I probably made money on this if it wasn't messing up. Actually, I did make money on this. You have a bullish sequence here. You're in the middle of an active bullish sequence. This is a 1 minute chart. You gap, you're pulling down. You're finally pulling down. We have
Oh,
the
dude,
next,
this was such a nice trade in Tesla. I remember this one.
you have the next, like the next candle open. So if you're like, oh, I don't know when to get in. One, this is Mark 1, so you actually do have a strategy here. But without that, you're pulling in on a candle. The next candle opens up, and as soon as it opens up, what's this, 53.95, 53.85, it breaks 10 cents below. You're talking about watching price action. It breaks 10 cents below and then rips. Let me see if I have this one. What time did this happen? I may actually have this trade, 9:45. That's 15 minutes in, right? 15
Yeah,
minutes in. Give me a second. I'll see if I have this.
pretty sure I took that one.
I'm trying to, so this, I'm going to have to mess with my Discord. I'm going to have to mess with my OBS. This is so hard to read. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to see if I actually have this trade. 9:45.37, 9:45, 9:45. Yeah, I don't even hold this trade. And no. This was just a scalp for me. I should have held this one, I think. Let me go back to it. Give me a second. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know how I traded this, so I might look stupid once I post it. So we're going to see if I look like an idiot.
Moment of truth.
Yeah, moment of truth. I don't remember what I did. So I took a loss on the previous trade. I probably was scalping a 1 minute breakout. You can see, let me move my face out of the way. Okay, so you can see I took a loss on the previous trade of 40 cents, 10 contracts. Q's at R1. I probably tried to buy this breakout is what it was, 44.59. I don't even know what time it is right now. Yeah, I probably tried to buy the breakout and it didn't work. So I don't know what happens here. At the bottom of the candle, pulling in, I'm ready to buy. Look, mouse is depressed. I know I'm buying this candle. Bought. What's the timestamp? 45 and 20 seconds. So I'm buying it on this. I'm loading up a sell. Instantly, I'm going to jump over. Let's let this play out. I got my entry. Okay, that's a great entry. Let's see what happens. My stop now is the bottom of that previous candle. The bottom of that previous candle. I want to go back and watch the, I want to go back and watch the price action. I forgot to watch the price action. So let's watch the price action. So we're selling, we're pulling off. I'm watching the level 2 right here. This is level 2. Sorry for all this. It's my new OBS. I've got a new screen set up. Look at it. Look what happened when I started buying. It was ticking down. I see all this buying coming in. This is flowing. This is a bullish action. We're in the middle of a breakout. And I'm just scalping this. It's Quadwitch. It's a Friday. I don't think I'm trying to make a ton of money. I'm just taking something. I go to sell, and I sold. I sold early, dude. I screwed this trade up super bad. I didn't even trade this good. This was the
You
previous
made some
candle.
nice taco money.
It is, yeah. I could have done that better, though. I think it probably pulls back down here. So that was only 10 seconds. Like, I wasn't even in that trade long. That was just a hyper scalp. Let's see what I do here. I probably lose money here. I've definitely got to lose money here. What am I doing? This is a 1 minute chart. That's why it looks weird. Or this is a 2 minute. Back in it. Look at the price action. You can just see how it's moving. You can see it's bullish. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. I'm green on the trade already. I'm out. There's another 60 or something cents. I'm out. I'm ready to get back in. Did I jump back in here? No, I didn't jump back in yet. I'm watching. I can see that green kind of come across the screen. I know I'm going to lose on some of these. This one I lose on. I lose 70 cents on this one. I remember now. Or 50 cents. So, yeah, I can let these keep playing out. But that's how I look at the bottom of a move and pick that level. And kind of identify that, like, it's going down. Okay, we're in a bullish sequence. We're going to continue to go higher. We haven't hit overall target yet. All right, let's wait. Okay, some buying's coming in. It's slowing down. We're at a support level here. Okay, I'm in. All right, I'm in now. And then I let it move. And that's kind of how I do this. And kind of what I'm looking for when I'm in the middle of a bullish move. And I take losses too.
Tesla, man, I really hope that it trades this well post split. What a beast of a stock.
I do too. Trying to see if I jumped over and started trading something else. Oh, Amazon.
Yeah, I traded that a little bit today too. That
Yeah,
was nice.
I was looking at why I didn't trade Tesla. I jumped over and started trading Amazon. That's why.
Amazon moved nicely. Then Moderna had some nice moves too for
Yeah,
the close. Yeah,
yeah, they did. You called that the Amazon play at the end. That was really good. Let's see if I missed any questions.
yeah, that was good times.
I didn't take that one. Like I was just like at the point in the day I had locked in, and I was just like, eh.
We're phoning it in.
Yeah, I was chilling. Like I was chatting. I was having fun hanging out, but I wasn't. I was like, I looked at it, and actually, what you did there is interesting because what you did there is what I do in the morning and sometimes midday too. And I think you say it a lot, and I try to say it. Is it's like the cues fail to break out.
Hmm?
What names didn't? What patterns didn't break? Like everything was wedging or ledging at the exact same time.
Yep.
There were
It was
only.
Moderna and Amazon that looked the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sophie's choice there for a sec.
Yep. So another thing I do and Geronimo does, and I hear him say it, and I think it's kind of given me confidence in doing it too. And what I say I'm looking for in the morning when I say I'm on the mic, like guys, I'm looking for relative support or weakness. What I'm looking for is basically, okay, what's happening in the market overall? Now, what do these names look like? It's, oh, this name's going down and the market's going up. And now it's sitting still and ledging as the market's going up. I really need to wait for the market to hit support and then I'm going to short this name.
Mhm.
Like, there's little things like that that you guys can look for too that can really help you identify those levels.
Yeah, for sure. Comparing what the Qs Inspire are doing to individual individual names can give you a really interesting set of clues as to how they're going to act when the market is either really strong or really weak. 100%.
So Robert asked that he was really green in the morning, but gave it back when catching. I guess Robert, you mean you gave it back when you were trying to catch the pullbacks and the breakouts, and you said not good. Need some help with this. I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit. Like I don't know. Maybe it's about identifying when the move is over. If you want to throw something in chat to let me know what you're saying, maybe that could be part of it. Because I'm not trying to catch every pullback. Like I'm trying to be very particular. Do you like how do you identify JR the pullbacks while I wait for Robert to type? And it seems like you've had several issues then Robert with trading the pullbacks and the timing of them and when to buy the pullbacks and when not to buy the pullbacks. And actually um, a few other people actually said have said stuff to me like this too, is like the stuff works that I'm talking about buying the pullback until you just start losing and then you're just trying to buy every single 1 and 2 minute breakdown, and before you know it you gave back. It's like you buy the pullbacks in this part of the chart and you win, and then you start losing on every pullback here because it never breaks out again. Do you do that as much, JR? Or how would you tell people? If you're talking, I can't hear you. Let me see if you're still in. Yeah, you're still on. It might be
Can you
off.
hear me? Hello?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So what I was saying is the first 3 5-minute candles of a day is what I'm constantly looking at, candles 1 through 3. Um, and basically into candle 12, you'll usually have your range for the day and your major move, right? And usually by the time you reach your 12th 12th 5 minute candle, you'll either have made most stocks will either have made their move or they'll have set a range. So, knowing that, what I'm looking for is understanding the average daily range of a name, right? So, if for example, if Tesla is in a breakout and then goes from a breakout to a tight channel and is maybe a third of its daily range into, like, I don't know, the second 5 minute candle, I'll be buying pullbacks with gusto, right? But if the price action then starts to broaden and you're in, the 80th percentile of the daily range and you're approaching the big reversal hour, which is usually candles 10 through 12, then I'm going to be, I guess you guys call it back of the mountain. The likelihood for a reversal or for a pullback to a much broader range is likely. But then you have other things to look forward to, right? Then that's when you have your broad ranges forming, then you have ascending triangles and wedges to look forward to as the stock consolidates. So for me, it's a matter of accepting what's happening based on time of day and average daily range. So if it's like, 9:40 and we're in like maybe leg one or two of a move and we're 50% of the average daily range in, like I'll be buying pullbacks with a ton of confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm similar, and I do kind of the same thing. It's like you have, like you're saying, you have your average daily range, and that's how much a chart moves in that day. Did we gap
Yep.
up? Did we gap down? Different stuff. If you have like an 8 point gap down in the Qs, it's like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Stupid futures traders.
Dude, it's been like that almost every day. 8 points up, 8 points down. So crazy.
But I mean, you could do something as simple, Robert, as, and you haven't wrote more, so I'm just going to assume like a few things. I'll throw a few things out there. A lot of it is what JR is saying is overall price action. Two is this right here is like, oh, okay, so we have a move and a pullback. Let's throw a fib. Okay, so I'm going to go, pretty aggressive on the pullbacks if there are any to the like 127 or
Hmm.
161. You could do measured moves. You could do different ways of finding something out. You can also do tape reading, and you could do daily support or overall support and resistance levels if they're hitting
Yeah.
moving averages. Are we coming close to the hourly 200? Yeah, we are. Okay, I might want to slow down. 15-minute 200. We're kind of, we're not going up into that here, but okay, here, maybe I want to slow down. 5-minute 200. Tesla, maybe I want to slow down. We're getting close to that. We might be at the end of this run. You can use those longer time frame indicators and moving averages to tell you, hey, we might be
Yeah.
pulling into something.
Also, is there a change of angle? Is there a confluence of like supporting evidence? A lot of times you'll get a pullback in Tesla that's testing that's testing the 21. It's testing an hourly pivot. It's testing an ascending trend line. Like all of the things are lining up, and maybe it's testing like the 61.8 or the 50% retracement. Like there's some times where some pullbacks are really special where you have all this like amazing supporting evidence and it's self-manifesting because all a bunch of other traders are looking at the same thing and they're getting excited, right? So you really have to try to look at the market through the eyes of the robots and eyes of other market participants because you can bet that they're looking at the same thing and their mouths are watering too.
Yep. And I just saw and Jason, your comment. Yeah. So on the last thing, when I was talking about that Tesla trade, I didn't change my TC charts. So the chart is Amazon, but the prints are Tesla. If you go back and look at them, you can watch the prints. The prints are correct. The chart is not because I'm still working on redoing my setup because I have different monitors and stuff now, and it's really annoying to get OBS to like fit everything how I want. So focus on the level two, not the charts. The charts are definitely screwy. But the level 2, and it's not the best video just because of that. And that's why I said I'm still having some recording issues. I'm trying to work out for intraday stuff to show you guys those videos. So sorry about that on that last video. But you could see what was happening on the actual prints and when I bought on the prints. So watch that, go back to your level. You can actually look on your own chart at where the level 2 was at when I bought and when I sold and all that stuff. So you can see where I was in the move. So yeah, sorry about that overall screw up. And yeah, you can, and then back to the original stuff with that level. Another thing like the angle, the volume, and also after you take a loss or two, like if you're like, I'm trying to buy every pullback, I limit myself to pullbacks until I lose once or twice. Like in Tesla, if I bought this pullback in one and bought this little dip in one and then bought this and one, but it didn't break out, I'm like, oh, it didn't break out, so we could be going a little bit lower. And then this pullout comes and this candle here starts going. I think this tape was really red, so I don't think I would have bought this. And you're going sideways. I kind of expected to pull into a moving average. But hypothetically, and then let's say you bought this one. Let's say it sat still for a little bit. After you take a loss, it's like, okay, I'm not taking another trade until it hits another moving average. And you guys hear me say it in chat sometimes, like, hey, I'm waiting for a 5-minute pullback in Tesla. Like you don't trade every single 1-minute pullback. You wait for certain moving averages that give you stuff, unless you're just in the middle of just a massive run. And I think today was hard. I don't think Tesla traded great today. And you had quad witching, which was messing everybody up. So I don't think there's an easy answer other than I think the stuff JR said and the stuff I said generally is right. It's hard to like put a very specific pin on something like that.
Yeah, you guys will notice I'm constantly talking about whether the order flow continues to look bullish or bearish. That is all of the things that we just talked about, right? Our trend lines being supported, our moving averages being supported, is the speed of and velocity of tape accelerating as the pullbacks approach their breakout level. Is the volume look digestive on the pullback rather than like a liquidation type volume? Are the pullbacks gentle slopes or are they big gnarly red candles? Like all of those things form your general criteria for positive order flow, right? And that's ultimately what you want in order to effectively buy pullbacks. And there's a lot. It's not one simple thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish it was. It would make our job a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone would be making a ton of money in the stock market.
You would never get any bad emails ever.
Exactly.
But there is all this kind of like mixture of stuff that goes hand in hand, and some of the stuff you pick up naturally, some of the stuff kind of comes to you after watching it and after learning, and you kind of learn to put it together. I mean, it's kind of like a car or a vehicle or jiu-jitsu or karate or anything else. It's like if you learn one thing, it's not going to, like, you're like, oh, I learned this one move and I'm just like the best. It's like there's so much that goes into being an expert at this stuff. And
Oh man. Yeah.
individually, some of the stuff is simple, but as you're putting it together, that's the art of martial arts or being a mechanic or doing these different things.
Yeah, and the challenge with trading is if you don't start doing it wisely from the beginning, you're going to be carrying such an enormous psychological burden that is going to make it very difficult for you to think clearly and execute effectively after all that PTSD. That's what makes it so hard, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It makes it hard for people to execute and for people to take the trades because they're so
Yeah.
beaten up from past
Mhm.
mistakes and past,
Yeah.
like, but I've done this so many times and I just lose. It's like you're almost like triggered yourself to lose. Like, oh, I was
Yeah.
right, and then you jump
You're
in
you're
late,
resigned to losing. Yeah.
and then you
That
lose.
wild?
It's interesting how the
Crazy.
mind works.
Really is.
Root dash, what Geronimo and I were saying, or dash, is when, let's say the Qs are going up, And let's say there's another name, like the Qs are going up, Tesla's going up, Amazon's going up, but Facebook is flat and kind of going down. Or let's say Facebook dropped and then is platforming and the Qs are still going up. What do you see there? You see relative weakness in a name. So I'm scanning the market for names. Like I actually only trade about 10 different names. But out of these 10 names, what names are weak? It's like, okay, the Qs are ripping and these names are weak. Google's weak. Okay, so Google's weak. All right, the Qs hit resistance and are going to pull in. What do I think Google's going to do if it's not going up when the whole market's going up? I think that's a sell, and there's a good sell setup in Google. I'm going to short it because now the market's coming down and that pressure, now that pushes that name down. So in the morning and early morning and midday, I'm looking for stuff like that to give me like, short or long ideas based in a name. And that's what I mean when I'm looking for the relative strength or weakness and finding the candidates for different plays. I'm like, I really like this name short. Or you hear Rose on here saying like Amazon is really like the Qs are going down and Amazon's holding up really well. I really like this to the long if the Qs hit support and pop. Okay, so as long as Amazon continues to hold up, then the Qs hit support and start popping, we go long Amazon to catch that bounce to the next resistance level. That's what we're looking for. Dory Tang asks you, JR, do the market makers grab buy stops and then short the stock? Putting in buy stops would make me nervous.
Yeah, some of them. Sure.
I'll hit Lance up, guys, to come on, and we'll do a yeah, you're welcome, Root, and I'll talk to him about
I
some of
mean,
this.
most market making today is algorithmic, but yeah.
It's crazy how they can program computers and stuff to do that.
Crazy how they can program computers to know you better than you know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They know all the stupid shit you're gonna do, especially as a novice, way before you know it, you know.
Yep. We're not. You're not as like myself included. We're not as like I don't know how to say as smart as we think we are, or as like individual. It's like groupthink is a thing,
Oh yeah.
and how people react is an actual thing. You're gonna react how other people have reacted. You're not in like I'm the only person that this has ever happened to. It's like no, you're like this has happened to everybody.
Here's what computers are not good at is they're not good at extrapolating patterns before they happen. Like Meta today, we entered we had a cheat entry into a right side, basically like a right shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Computers aren't good at extrapolating that type of move before it happens. That's what humans are really good for. That's where we have an edge. You remember that trade
Yeah, it's
in
right
Meta?
here.
Yeah.
I took it. I took one of them. I went over to the Qs and I traded it instead. But yeah, it's this one right here.
Yeah.
And this was happening at the same time as that Qs breakout that I showed earlier,
Yeah.
guys. So JR is talking to this dry plane. You've got the Qs doing something that's bullish. You've got Meta doing this over here that's bullish, and you called it out. That's a 5-minute chart, but
Mhm.
yeah.
So an algorithm, an algo will maybe take the neckline, that double top, and buy through that because
Okay.
it's a clear pivot, right? But a human can extrapolate that inverse head and shoulders and buy the right handle way before that breakout on very low risk. That's where, as a human person who understands price action, you have a huge advantage over the algos,
I
in my
think
opinion.
I think I bought here
Hmm.
because it was bouncing around and you still liked it and it hit the 21. I think I held it for a little bit, but then the Qs were doing their whole thing and I liked them more. So I sold Meta somewhere in here and jumped over to the Qs and traded it instead.
Yeah, you really needed some patience on that one.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just, with the 5-minute 200, I think I thought I thought the Qs were a higher, like, quicker win. So I jumped over to them. But you did great. I don't know. That was a really solid trade right there.
Yeah, we sold that right through the daily breakout. Nice.
That was a good trade. You do this stuff every day, and just as a quick little whatever, we're
So
about
do
an
you, bro.
hour and a hour 45 in, and if you've watched this, you're not subscribed, like, share, subscribe, like the video. Definitely helps out the algorithms. I gotta say this earlier in the video. I'm not a professional enough. Like the video if you're watching it, if you want to, if you think this is good content. Best thing you can do for the channel, unless you want to send me $1,000,000 or whatever, is drop a like, comment after the fact, share this content and the channel with other people, let them know what we're doing here. And even if people want to learn how to do this kind of stuff, they can join Discord and stuff, which is free. They can message me or JR about getting in the NewsBeat live room and learn all this kind of stuff. We do this every single day. These trades come up and this stuff happens, and it's just so much fun to I love this job. Best job in the world, in my opinion.
Ever. Best job ever.
I don't even want off work. And it's not just because of the money. It's just like I enjoy sitting down and trading.
Yeah. Best job ever, man.
Little cash, and I don't want to keep you all night, man. I know it's getting late and you're tired. It's been a long week, busy week.
That's a great question. Big ups.
Yeah, what you got for any tips for breaking the mental lock on failing over and over again?
Big ups. Did you watch my talk last night on linking up your psychology, your technical analysis, and your money management?
And while we wait for him to Little Cash to say that, I'll say that winning is the best way to do that, and that's like a shorthand answer where I'm waiting for Little Cash to answer. So you did watch it. Okay, he did watch it.
Good. So Gator gave a talk about getting out of bad situations, and I 100% agree with him. Your ability to rack up small wins, even, this is going to be controversial, but even if they're not good wins, even if they're not ideal wins, even if they're, not the best executions, but your ability to slowly build a cushion for yourself, it's not just a money cushion, it's a mental cushion, is one of the most important things for breaking out of that bad mental cycle. It is critically important. I'm sure you posted that video, right, Gator?
Yeah. Yeah. I could probably look and see which one it is, but yeah.
Yeah, it took me like 3 years to figure that out. Gator laid it out in 20 minutes on YouTube.
That's the only 20-minute thing I do on YouTube.
Freaking millennials.
I know, dude, or whatever. I don't remember what show it is, but or when I did it, but I could probably, it might be 62, recovering from a hard morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should title my videos better, but I never know what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and start talking. Either way, I've talked about it before, and what JR is saying it's really, you have to put together those wins, because when you're trading, you have to have almost an arrogance level confidence in what you're doing, to where, and arrogant isn't the right word because it comes with like a cockiness, and it's not that, but I'm using the word to just say like a complete, you have to trust yourself to take the trade that's in front of you. Otherwise, what's going to happen to you, and we'll use that Q's trade as an example, and this is what happens to everybody, is you're like, you wanted to take, where's the Q's trade? This is a 5-minute trade, that's why it looks flat. You wanted to take the break and you didn't. And so you bought up here at the top of this candle, and because you didn't have confidence, then you came back down here, and then you're scared it's going to break down past the level and you sell, and then it breaks back up, and then maybe you don't take it and you get shaken out somewhere in here again and you lose, and then it comes back down again, and then you don't take it and it comes all the way back up, and you're like, oh, it never pulled back down, and you just start doing that to yourself. You really have to, over time, through those small wins, let them add up, just so you can trade. So you're a good trader, and so you know what you're doing, and then you learn when to size in. And you take this other information that JR and I are talking about tape reading, and you're like, yo, I see what they're talking about. It's like the light bulb that came on. It's like, I watched that level and maybe I didn't trade it, or maybe I just took one share or one contract or five contracts, but it worked. I saw that happen. I was looking at that before they called it.
Yeah.
I saw it hit. It hit the support level, and I thought I wanted to buy it. Okay. And you just train that confidence in yourself to see that stuff, to identify, to know what the right stuff to look for is. That's the whole reason I do this show is, generally speaking, is to help people find those levels or to find those things. And you're like, okay. And then the next time it hits, like, I'm going to try it. I've got a plan coming in, not just blindly, I'm going to throw 150 whatever contracts at it. No, okay. I have a plan. I'm going to take this trade. I've got a target. All right, I'm going to do this. And then locking it in early. If you're
Yep.
having a hard time and you've had a hard week, I'm green on the day, I'm done. Why? Because I won that day. I come back the next day. Green on the day, I'm done. I won that day. Last week, guys, I had a green week. And you start building that within yourself, and it allows you to see everything else that's happening in the market that has to go together for your wins, which is kind of what JR and I have been talking about, the price action
Yep.
today.
My mentor used to call it riding the yellow bus or parking in the handicap spot. Wow, look at you, Mr. Aviator.
I'm Tom Cruise. Should I wear aviators? Should I wear aviators,
Talk
guys,
to me,
for all
Goose.
my video? So talk to me. What's going on? Hey, I'm doing my trades, guys. Got aviators on. I can see it's dark. The things are closed, but no light getting through these right here.
Uh,
That's it. Sorry.
you're cracking me up. So he used to call it like riding the yellow bus. Basically he's talking about retarded people. Like when you're in the market, right? There's not one market. There's multiple markets happening at once. Like most people don't realize that most HFTs are competing against other HFTs, right? And within that, it's a freaking bloodbath. Not all HFTs make money. A lot of these HFTs lose a ton of money and have their asses handed to them. And it's not me and Gator handing them their ass. It's other HFTs. It's right. And outside of that, and it's just in the same market, right? The same tape, right? There's little fish like us, little pikers like us, right? You have to decide what game you're going to play. If you're extremely talented and skilled, you can hyper scalp a bearish or difficult market and make money, right? I feel very comfortable scalping a ton intraday specialty cues. I've been doing this forever, and I feel very comfortable doing it. If you try to play a very difficult game in this market, you have to decide: are you going to be parking in the handicap spot and taking the easy trade, or are you going to try to defeat the big boys with fidelity when they've got when they're collocated 30 yards away from the NASDAQ and they're like under 1 millisecond away from the exchange? I got news for you. You're not going to win at that game, right? So you have to decide what kind of trader you're going to be and who you're going to be competing against in the market, so you can make your life as easy as possible when you're struggling. So to Gator's point, if you have a really simple trade, okay, 274.10, I'm going to bid it between 274.10 and 274.15, and I'm going to ride the retarded lane back up to glory while the HFTs are killing each other and everyone's going bananas and everyone's hair is on fire, and I got a 40-cent limit order above my entry and a 20-cent stop. That's where you live when you're trying to get back to even. You're not trying to get cute. You're not trying to hyper scalp like a 20-year-old veteran or whatever. You're trying. You need to make your life as easy as possible so you can rack up those wins. Because racking up wins is really important, but you need to understand where you live for the foreseeable future if you're struggling that badly. Which means you have to be extremely judicious in what kind of trades you're going to take in order to make that happen. Like Eddie and I are we're doing, some experiments on trying, like we're trying out a, what do you call it? Um, trader rehab type program, and we got a
Mm-hmm.
few guinea pigs we're working with, people who are really just have given up on trading, and just reached levels where they're like, I can't do this anymore, and we're bringing them back from the abyss. And we're just experimenting with a trader rehab type of program for people
Mm-hmm.
that hopefully we can make more widely available. And one of the primary focuses is telling people, like, your job is like these two things. That's all you're going to look for all day with these very specific parameters. And if you don't find it, there's no trade for you to take. And this is your risk. This is your target. And if this doesn't materialize for you today, you're not taking a trade. And you'd be surprised, man, how people can very quickly break out of their slumps because you're limiting the number of things they do to like a couple of things. And so that's all they have to worry about is making those two trades, that falling wedge reversal, that pivot retest, whatever it is. And then you just start slowly building that confidence up. But you gotta rig this game so that it's easy for you to rack up those wins. Because if you try to do it incorrectly, then you're gonna write Gator the angry letter saying, "Hey, mother effer, you told me to rack up a bunch of wins, but it's really hard."
Yeah, it's like I don't win
Um,
any. How am I supposed to rack up wins if I can't win? It doesn't make any sense. You're just telling me to
exactly.
do something I can't do. Like, this
Yeah.
doesn't work.
So yeah. So you gotta kind of resign yourself to just riding the yellow bus for a while and keeping it super simple so you can rack up those wins. Like most people can't beat a computer at chess, right? What makes you think you can beat the world's most complex algos at day trading? Like honestly, if you can't beat a computer at chess, what makes you think you can build, like, you can beat Goldman Sachs or Citadel?
The people with the most money in the world putting the most money
Yeah,
into like winning, and algorithms literally built that understand the human mind
yeah,
and how it works and can tell
yeah,
you statistically how you will react before you do it. You think you can beat them?
yeah. The
It's like,
the answer is you can't, and
no.
the answer is don't play that game.
Mm.
So
Yep. But you know what I can do is like I can sit back there and identify where stuff has happened. And just from the course
yeah,
of price action and tape, and I also bought this actual retest here, at here and caught some of this move. And you're
mhm,
just sitting here and you're like, yeah, you have this level and you're waiting, or you're in the middle of a breakout where it's just like, yeah, it's just nonstop going. You dive into the violence. Like there's so many different things, but you really
yep,
only need one or two things. Because if I take 10 contracts in something, I'm not saying to do this, I'm like giving you trading advice. I'm just adding on to what JR is saying. And if all I did, I had 5 trades a day and I had to wait for something, I had 10 contracts to take per trade, 50 contracts, and I could just do that, and I wanted to sit there all day, you could get some trades. You could make some winners and then be like, okay, yeah, I'm really good at this particular trade. I, took 3 green ones and then I locked it in and I was good. And you do that long enough, you'll
yep,
begin to trust that one thing really well. Then you can
yep.
do one other thing
Make a
slowly.
foundation. Exactly, man. All you got to do is play little, Mary had a little lamb on the flute for a few months. Like build up your confidence. You're not going to go from being a novice trader to like riffing like John Coltrane. It's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
And the consequences in trading isn't people booing you or throwing eggs at you, is you lose all your money. So you, you got to really keep it simple.
Keep it stupid simple.
100%.
Just put a comma in there wherever you want it. Um, I'll answer these two, and then we've been going for 2 hours. It's midnight. I don't want to keep everybody. Um, but I'll ask these two, and if you have anything else, throw it. First, do I have a video where I explain your chart details? Yeah, go to I have a playlist under YouTube that you can go to, and I think it's like setup or something. Go to my playlist on my YouTube channel and go to getting started. I have two things under there. I think one of those two videos are my charts. Yeah, I have the first one, which is Active Trader Pro, how to set that up, and at least minimum what you need for that. And then part two is charts and indicators that I use. So you'll see the charts and indicators that I use under that second video, under that playlist. I need to add more videos there. It's on my short list. And then Geronimo, Dari's question about stop losses, and then I'll give mine. You answer this on your show every night, but you can, I feel like you answer this a lot, but the stop loss question that Dari asked.
Um, so I usually exit the trade when it's no longer working, and that's based on many things. Price is usually the primary indicator, but if I'm in a trade that was supposed to be a bull flag breakout and it's turned into 16 bar long base, that trade is no longer working. So I'm going to take it off because it's not doing what it was supposed to do. So, I really try to make sure that my criteria for exiting a trade is the trade being broken, not necessarily seeing red on my screen. Right? That being said, like a lot of you guys will, email me, and I'm sure Gator gets this too. What I'm noticing is a lot of you guys aren't calculating your size based on your max stop per trade and for the day. And so you're taking really hard, big losses that you're struggling the rest of the day or the rest of the week to recover from. And it becomes like one step forward, two steps back kind of thing. So.
Yeah, you have to calculate your stop losses, and yeah, we do it manually for the most part. And you have to look and kind of understand the name and where you're at and what you're willing to lose and enter with the correct amount of size. Like for instance, I don't know if I was trading during this trade, but let's use this Tesla here as an example. And let's say this is the 1 minute chart. What was it doing on the 2 minute chart? Oh, I hate it when it does this. I hate TC2000. I really need to use something else. Okay. So we broke off the 2 minute and we pull back into the 8, and you can see us here on the 2 minute. We're bouncing around here. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. And now it's messed up again. Oh, I hate this. If I would have taken, let's say this is midday, so there's some stuff here that goes into my size and what I'm looking for in this trade. So we're on the 1 minute. Let's assume some things that I assume we're in a bullish trend. I have a higher price target. I'm looking to take Tesla longer. At this point, the name is moving extremely slowly, but I'm very bullish in the name, and I think it's going to go. It bounced down. It set in a higher low. It bounced off the 21. So now I think that this 21 EMA on the 1 minute is a support. I think it was the 8 on the 2 minute. So we think this
I
is
remember
support.
that trade. That was nice.
Yep. We're sitting in this, and it's messing around here. Well, okay. How I look at this is, okay, so we're just bouncing around a little bit. I want an entry. Where do I want my entry to be? Well, I want my entry down here somewhere probably. And so we're sitting in here. So what's the idea for the trade? Am I looking, before I buy 5 contracts or 30 contracts, I'm thinking, okay, what am I looking to do? Am I looking to catch a breakout past this pivot high of 53.88, past this thing? So do I think that we're going to complete a move higher? Or am I just looking for a quick scalp? If I'm looking for a quick scalp, it's a different ball game. But if I'm going for this trade, or at least this trade, at least a test of this and a break of it, I'm buying maybe smaller size. And now that I've noticed that it's choppy, let's say I took one stop loss here, I know that it's choppy. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy 5 contracts instead of 10 or 20, and I'm going to sit in this. And as long as we don't break down, or maybe my stop loss is going to be VWAP. So 51 VWAP here is $49. So I'm going to take a 2-point loss on 5 contracts down to the 200. the 200 1-minute EMA, which is below me, if it breaks down and I let it go all the way there on that trade at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 contracts, I'm going to lose somewhere between a point and 2 points, assuming the contracts move what the delta is, 50 cents against me. So, and all this math happens like that in my head, but I'm talking through it. So my stop now is from the 21 to the 200 on the 1 minute. I'm going to let it go there, and I'm going to take the correct amount of size to not ruin my freaking... I might have just woken up my kid. Not ruin my freaking day at 1 o'clock. And that will allow me to hold the chop that takes place here in Tesla. If I might have to run these like right next door if he keeps crying. I'll be able to get him down in a few seconds, so if he does. To then hold the move, and then to not sell the move, and then to take profits where I need to. And this was a really good trade. And so the stop loss has to be realistic with the right size and manual to be like, okay, so I have my trade idea beforehand. I'm repeating what I said at the beginning of this video in the cues, but it's here. The stop loss is down here. I'm letting this trade happen. I have a max loss on 5 contracts of $1,000 a day. I'm up $8,000. It's 1 o'clock. I'm cool with losing that. If I'm not, I take 2. I let the trade work. I let it go down. And if it does break down past this pivot low, then we're probably going lower, and that's fine. But I think we're in a bullish sequence, so I'm just going to let it chop around and be up a point or 50 cents, and then down 20 cents, and who cares? It doesn't matter. And then boom, there's my move, and now I'm 5 points higher. I hope that answers your question. That's my answer. And then other times my stop loss is a lot quicker if it's super volatile and Tesla's whipping around 5 points at a time, and I don't want to lose, and I have 30 contracts, and I don't want to lose like 2 points on my 30 contracts. I might be a little bit tighter on my stop loss,
Yeah, and there's, I've slowly started talking more about money management, but being able to finance your trade through partial exits gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility, because you could have a P&L break-even stop or an entry break-even stop off of partial partial profits along the trade. You can also, on that Tesla example, right, you could buy maybe a quarter position into the trade, and as the price level holds and you put in a new high, you can maybe buy another quarter position, and when the pivot finally breaks, you can add 2 more. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How you manage your entries and exits really also is a major determining factor on the success of the trade.
Yeah, and we're just giving... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just money management. A lot of traders in the room were fortunate enough to be able to trade through 2020, and where it wasn't so important as it is now.
But it is now, and that's the people I think that are learning are the ones that are staying around, and the ones that are still here trading. So I think with that, it's late, guys. It's midnight East Coast time, and we've been going for over 2 hours, keeping JR up. And I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you guys. JR, I love you, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
Love you too, bro.
You're the man.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy the new house.
Oh yeah, dude, I will. I'm gonna enjoy spending time with some family, take the kids back to the lake and stuff. They got to go today with their grandma and their Lolly and their mom, so I'm gonna take them over the weekend. So, yo guys, y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy some time away from the market. I'll see you all on Tuesday. If you have questions, don't forget to DM me. If you are still watching this and you're interested in trading with JR, me, and other traders every day, you can join me, particularly Rose and Mitchell, CT, and Discord. If you want to trade with JR, T3 live room, shoot me a message. I'll get you the contact info over there, and we'll get you in. So cheers to you guys. You're all the best. Love you guys. You're why I do this. Trade smart, trade intelligently. Enjoy the long weekend, and I'll see you all next week.
Take care.